Good morning, Houston. This is Oscar Hines. Welcome to the Natural Nation Network here on Synergy Radio. It is a pleasure to have you here. If you are out on the roadways, we want to encourage you to be very, very careful. It's a slippery, cool morning, but I've got to tell you, it's bright and warm in here. Whenever I have these wonderful beings that grace me with their presence, I am always exuberant and delighted. Good morning, Alexis. How are you?
Good morning, Oscar. I'm doing great. You have to be the light when it's gloomy outside. So definitely, thank you. Thank you.
And we have the pleasure of Wellbeing Simplified back with us. Good morning, Tracy and Heather. How are you all doing?
We are good. It's all about perspective. Gloomy, gloomy, gloomy. What's gloomy?
Right.
Like you said.
That's right. Turn that frown upside down. I don't. Oh gosh, I don't know. Next I'll be asking for milk and cookies. I mean, it could get ugly. Well, see, you guys have like elementary school kids, so I can, I can say silly stuff like that.
All out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just don't sing Barney, because then I'm done.
We're over those. We're over that.
At least that was my guys' stuff. That was their era. I'm not sure who's hip and cool now, but
and they're doing Musical.ly, and they're doing all the other social networks. Yeah, definitely something different.
Something, completely different. Wow. Yeah, that's a little bit.
Barney's dead.
Wow. Okay. Well, I thought he was a communist anyway. Okay. We need to. I love you. You love me. It was all some kind of
Conspiracy theory.
That's right. Yes, I'm just That's right. I was never a Barney fan, but what the heck. So it goes. But anyway, we're talking about wellness today, aren't we? Otherwise, we could traumatize some young adult who said, "I loved Barney."
So no, don't leave.
Exactly. So this has been an amazing series with the two of you with Wellbeing Simplified, because you've taken us on this amazing journey of the R's, right?
Yes.
And today we have the privilege of being able to have you in, for those who were not here at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
To be able to go back now and review some of the essential key elements that we picked up.
Yes.
And really summarize this opportunity that we have to start really looking at a simple way to achieve well-being. And I loved it. I still practice some of the things that you all taught. So launch us off here with the summation of the R's that we covered.
So Wellbeing Simplified is predicated on our three signature R's, and the R's are release, rejuvenate, and reinvent, under which each of those three R's, we have two tiny, very simple and sustainable and accessible steps. So under the release, I'm just going to give you the synopsis. Under release, we've got hydration and breath work.
Yeah.
Under rejuvenate, we have nutrition and meditation. Under the last and third R of reinvent, we have movement and manifestation.
Yes.
Now, within each of those 6 little steps and the 3 signature R's, Tracy and I believe that if you do what we summarize today, even just the idea of just setting the intention to maybe start and do a couple of them, that you can start affecting change in your life right here, right now.
Absolutely.
That will reinvent your life. Will reinvent your well-being. I mean, this is doable for anyone. And it really is for me, and let me be real transparent here. I walk this walk, and every day is a reboot for me. I get up and say, maybe if yesterday was a train wreck or, whatever happened, today is a new day. Dwelling on the past is history.
Yeah.
What we have is the present moment. And so every moment of every day is a chance to reinvent and to reboot. So make that intention, set that intention, launch it off into the world, that right at this very moment, maybe you're going to do 1 or 2 of the things that Tracy and I say, and you're going to commit to it for the next 21 days. And see if a little habit forms. See if you start feeling better and more vibrant.
Yes.
So that's Wellbeing Simplified. I mean, we don't have time for well-being complicated.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's right.
I don't.
the convoluted well-being, right? No, that doesn't work for anyone. But keeping it simple. And one of the things that I like that's sort of inherent in your message is it's really about consistency. I read a book called The Compound Effect, and I really enjoyed it because it talks about how with small incremental steps on a regular basis, you can change virtually anything in your life.
Right. It's a scaffolding, and with a compounding, it gets easier in essence.
Yes.
Because you're kind of piggybacking on the effort that you made yesterday and the day before and the day before. And if you look at it from a scientific standpoint, and what we know about neuroscience and the nervous system is it makes sense, the compound effect.
Yes.
Because we are affecting change and rewiring our very nervous system and our very brains to be happier, to be healthier, to be more vibrant. And so it's going to get easier the more that our brains are like, oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're more rewired for that positivity and for that abundance.
And that's the one thing that I like about well-being as well is that you really stress to pace yourself. As you said, y'all have been doing this walk for a long time, and even you have your days. So, with living the healthier lifestyle, you definitely have to pace yourself, not worrying about how fast someone else has been going or living healthier or fitness for however long it's been.
Yes.
Yeah.
And boy, is a comparison our biggest nemesis.
Absolutely.
And it's not about that. It's about our journey, and it's about our own reinvention. And it's about our own rebooting in this very moment.
Right.
So if you could take us back through the R's to kind of get an idea for those who may not have been at this journey at the beginning.
Right.
How has it sort of evolved? What are those central 3 R's?
So here's your trifecta for well-being.
Yes.
So take the nuggets that resonate with you and always trust that, which is the piece that speaks to you. And so we'll start with the first R, which is, Tracy and I believe that we really can't access that vibrancy that we want, mind, body, and spirit, until we release what doesn't serve us any longer. And so we start with this release. And Tracy takes more of a physical, we like to say we take that tag team approach. She takes the more physical approach, although we both believe that mind and body can't be separated. And just for the sake of just the fact that we're twosome, I take the mind approach, and so we start with the hydration on release.
Well, and it's even more than that. Heather is a holistic behavior specialist, so that's more appropriate that you would work.
And she's a naturopathic doctor.
But we do, everything is woven together, and you'll see that, and you have seen that as we go through. And so we start with hydration, proper hydration. Most of us are dehydrated most of the time, and we don't realize it, and it's showing up in different things that you would never connect, like inflammation is a symptom oftentimes of dehydration, because you have to drink adequate water, not coffee, not beer, not sodas.
Dang it.
Adequate
Water.
good clean water to actually get those toxins and that acidity and inflammation out of the cells and the tissues. So hydrating is really, really important. It's also important for your cognitive ability. So there are definite concrete connections between things like Alzheimer's and memory, ability to access words, and ability to focus and problem solve, and your level of hydration. Big connection between cancer and dehydration. In fact, studies have shown that breast cancer can be increased by as much as 79% in women that are chronically dehydrated. Think about that. Toxins build up in the breast tissue.
Right.
If you don't have enough water to get the nutrients in and the toxins out of the tissues, then it will sit there and it can cause damage to the DNA and thus cancer growth.
Wow.
So really,
What an
really
easy way to prevent disease.
Right.
All right, so what
Simple.
is the, how do
Just
we
to
not get
remind them, how
dehydrated?
much water should they be
Yes.
drinking? What do
So-
we say with that?
This is not a be-all, end-all rule.
Right.
Everybody is different, but the general guideline that we give people is to drink half of your body weight in ounces of pure water a day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces of pure water a day, spread throughout the day, don't drink it all at once,
Right.
is kind of what you should aim for. Most people only have like 1 or 2 glasses if they're lucky. So start to work up to that level and look for things like you should be urinating 7 to 8 times a day. That's normal. And
Wow.
it should be pale yellow, not unless you're taking lots of B vitamins. We all know that,
Right.
you know, and it shouldn't have a strong odor. Now, as you start increasing, your body may be dumping toxins and you may have a little bit more of an odor. Shouldn't have foam on it, you know, things like that. So if anything looks out of the ordinary, you know, it's something you might want to discuss with your medical professional. But half your body weight in ounces of water. And Heather's got a really good tip for how to increase and encourage, create that habit. And you've talked about this too, because you do this with your clients, how to create that habit of drinking good water.
Yeah, you had, what was it that you told your clients? I love
To
that.
do 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, and 2 at night.
Right.
So, you know, you're at least getting in, you know, 6 bottles of water on average. That would be almost close to the 70 ounces, half the body weight. And then you don't feel like you have to cram it all in at once. And then set the reminders, put them, you know, in your phone, you know, make your screensaver the waterfall. So when
Oh,
you look
that's
at
right.
it,
I love that.
you know, the remembrance that you need to drink more water.
Well,
Yeah.
that would make me want to run to the ladies' room.
Right?
But you just told us that we're
Streams
supposed
of
to
water
do that.
trickling down. All of a sudden, I'm shaking my leg. That's terrible. That is bad.
I'm reaching
So-
down because it's like I think we all came in
Right.
with a receptacle. You know, another tip is, and I oftentimes have a glass receptacle because glass and stainless steel are going to be the healthiest receptacles to drink from because of the chemicals. You know, even if it's a non-BPA free plastic bottle, there's a whole lot of other chemicals in plastic besides BPA. So your best and cleanest is glass. It also breaks. So, you know, oftentimes if I'm going to be out and about throughout the day, I'll take a stainless steel. But what I do is I've got a few that I love the most, and I just memorize how many ounces are in this. And I've got a filtration system just on my sink in my kitchen, and I utilize that. And I know how many of these, because I know how many ounces are in here, I know how many of these are going to equal half my body weight in ounces. And so I can just easily calibrate, you know, and it might be that I use Alexis's rule of how many in the morning, how many at noon, how many in the evening, and set my timer. I think our last takeaway that we want to say about hydration is write happy words on your bottle.
That's what it was. And having a pretty water bottle, they have so many now that when you see it,
Makes you happy.
then it makes you happy, and then you'll be more willing to drink the water.
Right,
Like, oh,
you
that's
wanna
cute. Let me
grab
get that.
Elevate your spirit.
Right.
I love
Well,
that.
there's
I love
science
that.
behind that.
Yes,
right.
yes, there sure is. So, folks, you are listening to Wellbeing Simplified here on the Natural Nation Network. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to delve into the second R. So I'm excited to find out more. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. You are listening to the Natural Nation Network here on Synergy Radio. Wellbeing Simplified is having an amazing conversation. We have a way for us to achieve well-being without making it complicated. I love that. I love that. Because so many times there's so much convoluted information out there about health and about wellness. And unfortunately, it can tend to confuse consumers, and then they tend to do things that are not always the best thing for their health. So far we've covered water. And I really liked what you mentioned, Tracy, a little while ago about even the aspects of things like Alzheimer's and cancer can significantly be averted through just the consumption of water. Yeah. And that's amazing. I know the brain is, 90% water, something like that? That's pretty amazing stuff. Water and fat. So fatheads, we all are.
Yeah, we are fatheads, literally.
We are literally.
We are not airheads.
We're not airheads. No, No, but certainly that's important. So we get all the synapses firing, and we tend to remember those small and sometimes crucial details that we
Well,
need to govern our day,
Absolutely,
right?
and you just reminded me of something when you said that, the synapses firing. Think about what happens when lightning strikes water. Water is a conductor
Yes.
of electricity.
That's a
Our
good
body
point.
runs off of electricity.
Wow.
If you don't have enough water, those synapses are not firing. You're not getting the communication in the body like you should.
So
Wow.
brain fog, one of your
Absolutely.
antidotes would be, even if you drink half of your body weight,
Yes.
if you're starting at 0 or if you're starting at just
Anything's
a little,
better.
anything's better.
Yeah.
Just commit, like today, like right now. That's it. If that's the only takeaway from this show, you are going to be that much healthier and that much more vibrant, and your synapses are going to to be firing that
That's
much
right.
more effectively.
And if you don't like the taste of water, add lemon to it. Add cucumber slices.
Right.
You know,
With my children, and I know Tracy, you do this too, also with Megan.
Yeah.
A little bit of, and I think we talked about maybe you doing this with your baby girl. You can do like the oranges or the lemons or the cucumbers, but then I also add a little organic liquid stevia, a few drops of that, which is probably one of the healthiest sweeteners. You can just get it at Whole Foods or
Yeah,
online.
y'all actually sell one too that I got just from the shop.
the Ultimate?
The Ultimate.
Yes.
Yeah, and that
At the
has
clinic.
worked really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we call it our healthy Gatorade because it does not have food dyes or high fructose corn syrup,
Yeah.
but it has electrolytes.
Right. Yeah, you should avoid some of those sports drinks for that very
Yes.
reason.
That goes without saying.
So then what is the second R?
Okay, well, before we go to the second R, we've got one tiny piece under release that is more of it's still part of the body, but we kind of focus on more the mind piece, and that's breath work.
Yes.
So we're still releasing.
Okay.
So we're filtrating. We're getting, as Tracy said, the toxins out. We really want to release what does not serve us, be it a physical toxin or emotional toxin, before we start reinventing and rejuvenating and putting the good stuff back in. Let's just get rid of the stuff. We're done. Today's a reboot. So we're going to drink half our body weight in ounces, and we're going to practice breath work. And very, very simply put, our favorite kind of gold standard on breath work, if you can do this 2 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, it's the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. And it's the idea of taking air in through your nose to a count of 4 and inflating the belly with air. So it's not puffing the chest out or pulling the shoulders up. That signals to the brain that you are in fight or flight. That's stress breathing. Okay, many of us say, take a deep breath, Oscar, you're stressed out. And Oscar goes,
Yes.
and that's going to tell the brain you really are in danger. And there's a reason. That's that mind-body connection, that a neurochemical cascade goes and tells the brain when we breathe like that constricted breathing that's high up in the chest, that there is danger happening. So we really want to be cognizant of the chest and the shoulders being very nice and relaxed. Air goes into the belly to a count of 4. So just try that through the nose. Check the belly to make sure it's inflated. Great. And then the next step is 7, and that's just a holding of the breath for 7 seconds, keeping the belly inflated for a count of 7. When we hold our breath, it signals to our mind and body that something important is happening. It grounds us in the present moment. So in that 7 seconds gives you a chance to completely rewire your nervous system, be right here, right now, not worrying about that or this. We're here for 7 seconds in our body. And then the 8, 4, 7, 8, the 8 is a release through the breath like you're blowing out a candle or you're blowing bubbles. So a bit of a pursed lip, the belly goes flat. So let's do that together. So in through the nose to a count of 4, big belly. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out through the mouth, blow your candles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Belly should be flat. Just 4 of those can reboot your nervous system. From a sympathetic nervous system, that's your autonomic side of your nervous system that puts you into kind of a fight or flight mode. We need it. We want balance in our sympathetic nervous system. If someone cuts us off in traffic, we want to be able to
Absolutely.
react.
Yeah.
It puts you out of sympathetic, though, and more into a parasympathetic, just 4 of those breaths. Parasympathetic is our relax, our renew, our rest, our digest, and our release. It's our filtration. So our filtration can happen through our skin, think hydration. Okay, it can happen through all of the organs, think hydration. It can also happen through the lungs, through that breath work.
Very important part.
Yeah. So set your timer for, if you only do 4 of those while you're driving. If you're in traffic, you can use that just as a crisis intervention. But if you really want Wellbeing Simplified, if you can do that for 1 to 2 minutes with your eyes closed, set your phone, set a timer, that is going to make a profound, I promise, cumulative compounded effect on your life. 4, 7, 8. So that's our first R, release, hydration and breath work. Our second R is to rejuvenate. And the first piece under that is nutrition.
Nutrition, yes. And
We all like to eat.
Yeah, that's good. So do we.
we do. So what I have chosen, of course, there are so many things you can talk about with nutrition, especially in relation to the SAD diet, which is the standard American diet. But the first thing I want people in this first phase of Wellbeing Simplified to focus on is increasing vegetable intake. So it's the only proven dietary change that can consistently reduce cancer is increasing your vegetable intake to at least 7 servings a day. Vegetables and fruits, and I say and fruits in parentheses. I'm a huge fan of fruits, but not the high sugar fruits. I'm talking about berries, fruits that are nutrient dense and not super high sugar.
So you're saying yes to berries, right?
I'm saying yes to berries. Sorry, I'm saying yes to berries.
Yes.
But focus on vegetables. Variety of vegetables. Ketchup and French fries don't count.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what most American kids, those are the only vegetables they eat. So you can greatly reduce your risk of cancer and death from all disease by increasing your vegetables and fruits. And that does not include syrup-laden fruits and vegetables either. And it does not include fried. So get some real vegetables. Incorporate them into snacks and breakfast. Like what I do is when I make vegetables at night, I save some, and in the morning I'll have a soft-boiled egg with some sauteed vegetables for breakfast. And it's delicious, and it's more of a savory breakfast, but that's what we want. We want to move away from the junk food and into a more nutrient-dense variety of foods.
Yeah, and even with the fruits and the vegetables, I have my clients to go out and try different vegetables and fruits from other nationalities. I know that I think it's the Chinese fruit. It's called klechi. I think you kind of peel it. It's almost like a grapefruit. It's white. They're gonna get mad at me, but it's really good. I think it's called klechi. I think y'all out there go look it up. But it's definitely good when you go to different markets and you'll see different the fruits and the vegetables. Definitely try those. Get outside the normal, normal markets and go to the healthier food stores.
Absolutely, and with apps like Yumly, you can find recipes for anything. Just Google whatever the fruit or vegetable you find, and you'll find amazing recipes. And the neat thing is, you'll be able to look at reviews.
Yes.
Everyone says it's disgusting. Maybe look for another one. But that's a fantastic idea.
And you won't know it till you really get out there and taste it and try it. I know there's some like the spirulina. I never even knew what that was, right? And there's some of it that don't taste too good, but you have to try it until you know what it tastes like.
I'll tell you where I excel in this regard, and I'm pretty consistent, and I think a lot of people should, is juicing their veggies in the morning.
Yep.
I do a combination of just this morning, bananas. I have beets in there.
Yes.
The bananas make it sweet, right?
Right.
But the beets are in there. Kale is in there. We have different areas of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli. And when you pulverize these into a nice, pleasant tasting juice, and I use almond milk or something like that to sort of carry it. And it is amazing, and you drink it slowly, and it feels like a full breakfast. I had that at 8 a.m. this morning. It's 11:30, and I'm still full.
Oh yeah, and you just got. And when you drink it, when you juice, you're taking away a lot of the things that keep you from absorbing some of the nutrients. So literally, and you're drinking it slowly, you're just getting that nutrition is being infused into your body, and it's really good, especially juicing the vegetables. If you're not a huge vegetable eater, you can get 4 servings in one meal.
That's true.
You know, so I vacillate between the juicing, and I learned this actually from my nephew. Are you listening, Michael? I learned this from my nephew who lost, I don't know how many pounds, but I'm going to say maybe 70 pounds when he got on to the juicing habit. But he said use the Granny Smith apples when you juice, which you would think are the more sour, less sweet apples. But they have, so try that next time you juice.
Okay.
So a little bit of that for the sweet, maybe instead of the banana, just to see. And I do that and the carrots, which are sweeter.
Yes.
And then I can just throw in the kale, I can throw in the turmeric, I can throw in, some of the beets, and it's curtailed by the apple and the carrot.
Nice.
This morning I did a smoothie, which is a little bit different. I did a raw cacao smoothie with some really good high fats in it. And then I was thinking, we're going to go do Wellbeing Simplified. I better get my veggies in because Tracy's going to ask me. So I literally ran to my refrigerator, grabbed my Power Greens, like just a big handful. I'm like, that's got to be at least 2 servings, and just dumped it into my smoothie. I had no idea that it was in there.
Yes.
Because I had all the other good
Well, and I know I've been saying juicing, but I use a Ninja, which is like this major blender that just pulverizes whatever you put in it. And that way you're getting the roughage as well.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes.
And very important.
So, folks, you are listening to Wellbeing Simplified here on the Synergy Radio Network. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we will continue the exploration of the next R in this trifecta of health. We'll be back in just a moment. And we are back. This is Wellbeing Simplified on the Synergy Radio Network. We're talking about ways to stay healthy. Now, earlier, I know, Tracy, you mentioned that we should drink water, and then you mentioned beer, but it is St. Patty's Day on Saturday. Can I have a bit of ale?
just compensated for it. Drink an extra glass of water.
Now that actually was going to be my follow-up question after my horrible, Irish accent. So people will drink. I mean, a glass of wine periodically, but my understanding is that alcohol does dehydrate you. So what's the rule? I mean, for
1 to 1. So if you're going to have a glass of wine, have an additional glass of water on top of that, half of your body weight in ounces.
Great.
And take some B vitamins, because alcohol depletes your B vitamins.
Ah, very good.
Helps with a hangover. You did not learn that on Wellbeing Simplified.
Hey, all these little
I'm
suggestions
not going to add to that.
We know that was a scholastic, not a experiential observation. Yes. Okay, so we're good.
Well, it's funny. I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention, as we kind of move away from nutrition into our last piece of Rejuvenate, on nutrition, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And so it's funny when we talk about drinking wine, Tracy and I joke, just make sure that it's organic wine if you can find it, which you can find some pretty cheap organic wines nowadays at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, because grapes are on the Dirty Dozen list. Okay, what is a Dirty Dozen? So there's 12 vegetables and fruits that are listed on the environmental working group, EWG, environmentalworkinggroup.org. That group, and it changes, whatever's the most pesticide-laden, GMO-laden fruits and vegetables for that year, they list as their Dirty Dozen. Try to buy just those organic. Organic is expensive, and if you want to, the ones that are usually on the Clean 15, they're cleaner, they're not as pesticide laden, are usually the ones that have a thicker skin, because the pesticides can't get into the goodies.
Yeah.
So like the avocados and the bananas and the cantaloupes and the pineapples, you can save a little money and not buy organic, but your berries and your apples and your grapes, see if you can try to get those organic. Anything else about that?
Celery, pears. Look at the list. It changes.
Yep.
Year to
Okay.
year.
You have that on your website, correct?
Yes.
So go to wellbeingsimplified.com to find out how you can differentiate The clean 15 from the dirty dozen.
And you can print it or take a picture. Don't print it. That just ages me. Take a picture of it. We have it in PDF. Take a picture of it right there on your computer screen, and you'll have it when you're at the grocery store,
Yes.
without trying to remember the environmentalworkinggroup.org.
Yes.
Okay, so that's nutrition under that rejuvenate. So we've released through hydration, we've released through the breath work, and now we're rejuvenating. Now we're putting the good stuff back in. Our cells are ready to receive. And so we've eaten our 7 fruits and vegetables, the clean 15, the dirty dozen we're avoiding. And the other way that we can rejuvenate through our minds and our bodies talk. Okay, there's a symbiotic back and forth relationship, so we need to keep both healthy.
Right.
Is through meditation. Now, meditation, we laugh with Wellbeing Simplified. We are not Zen monks for sitting, on the mountaintop for an hour. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids and too much going on to sit for an hour.
And our only
Right.
mountain is laundry.
My mountain is my laundry.
Okay,
That's
there you
not
go.
the truth. This
It does
morning,
not seem to ever go down.
it doesn't. It's like, didn't I do you yesterday?
Yes.
That and the dishes. It's like, why didn't someone do this last night in the middle of the night? But so with meditation, I want to just mention, just to bring this, because we predicate everything we talk about on science. We're not going to teach anything in Wellbeing Simplified that doesn't have a plethora of research behind it. So with meditation, my favorite research study to mention is Dr. Blackburn out of UCLA won a Nobel Peace Prize. The first person to win a Nobel Peace Prize when it comes to mind-body self-transformational work on meditation. She was not a meditator. She was a hardcore scientist. And long story, kind of led her down this road, and she studied folks for just 8 weeks, 12 minutes a day, 12 minutes a day for just 8 weeks. And she looked at something called their telomeres. Now, if you think about a shoelace, the end of a shoelace has that plastic cap.
Right.
The plastic cap on the end of the shoelace is similar to, like, your shoelace is your chromosome, on your genetic code, and the plastic cap is your telomere. Okay? The telomere keeps your cells, keeps your DNA healthy, keeps you from aging. Okay? Kind of is the end cap. And so when those telomeres start to shrink, which they do when we age, and when we're not properly hydrated or eating the right thing or breathing right, they're going to shrink faster. When they shrink, we age quicker. Disease happens faster. Our DNA is dying. What she found was the enzyme that protects those plastic end caps called telomeres on our DNA grew. The telomerase, the enzyme, grew by 42% in folks that meditated for just 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks. Guys, that is almost a 50% increase in your anti-aging serum inside the body.
I'm meditating right now.
Right now. Everyone stop.
They'll think you have
You already know
narcolepsy or
I'm
something.
meditating right
You
now.
just pass out.
I
Yeah.
had a
Let me
professor with
say
that.
Yes.
this, and I think it's really important. There is no drug out there that can do anything close to that. Have you ever learned
No.
of anything?
I haven't.
Nothing.
No.
Right.
There is no reason for all of us not to be meditating. And that's only, the anti-aging is one little
One piece.
of it.
Wow.
Reduction in stress hormones, which ties into the anti-aging. Clarity of thought,
Yes.
connection to your spiritual life. Answers. There's a great quote that I saw that meditation, because it said something like meditation because Google doesn't have the answer for everything. And I thought,
Yes,
it's
that's
even though
right.
you're
That's
supposed to clear
good.
your mind, sometimes things come to you.
So
Yeah.
that's the
I like
question.
that.
I think a lot of people have that as an issue. They don't have the discipline, the mental sort of stick-to-itiveness to meditate. So what are your suggestions to help people sort of stay in that space of meditation?
All right, 2 things. Neither do I. Okay, none of us do. We all think that we suck at meditating because our brain's only job, our mind's only job is to think. And so if your brain is thinking, if your mind is thinking when you're trying to sit and do this esoteric thing called meditation, good for you, you're doing what your mind is supposed to do. Even the Zen monks are thinking. Okay, that's why we call it a practice and you do it every day. And so when you meditate, so if you're out there and you've shut down right now, please come back with us, because I promise you This is Wellbeing Simplified, and this is accessible. Okay, for me, my meditation practice is getting my kids off to school, coming home. I have a really special, beautiful pillow on purpose that I love. I sit on it. I have my iPhone close by. It's my security blanket because I put a timer on for 10 minutes.
Turn the ringer off.
Turn the ringer off. You don't want to be checking in the middle of, that's, in the middle of the meditation. And so what is meditation? Meditation is paying attention to one thing on purpose and letting everything else go. So I choose my breath. Okay, so if you already are doing that 4-7-8 for 2 minutes, see if you can set your timer for 5 minutes after doing 2 minutes for a week. See if you can set it for 7 minutes the next week. See if you can set your timer for 10 minutes. And so what the practice is that you go in through the nose, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. You're feeling that air in the belly, and you're in that present moment and counting to that count of 7 for the 7-8 breath work. You're coming out through the mouth. See if you can notice the warm air. I feel the air coming out of my mouth. Be in the body. Be in the present moment. Count to 8. Back into the count of 4, hold for 7, out for a count of 8. Sometimes, most of us, we can actually plan our grocery list or plan our to-do list while we're counting 4, 7, 8, and you realize after a couple minutes that you've planned your whole day or your Christmas list or whatever it might be, and you're still counting. That's okay. There's no judgment, because we all do that. It's the practice is, and this is where you're going to rewire your brain every second you do this. Every single time you say, oh, thinking. I put my thought, I visualize, I put it on a cloud, I let it float away, I come back to feeling the air in my body. Maybe a minute later or a breath later, I'm off somewhere else. I say, oop, thinking, no judgment, my brain's doing its job. I put that thought on a cloud, I let it float away, I come back to the counting, and 10 minutes is up. There's no wrong or right way to meditate. Some people use mantras. I choose gratitude in, I choose gratitude out. I
Or
choose
scripture.
gratitude, or you can use prayer.
Right.
Yeah.
Prayer is meditation.
Yeah.
Right. I definitely think it's
Outstanding.
the form of meditation. And even just for me, it's during the transition. I always say from work to being home to now being present with your kids. And I think for moms who do work, it's in that time that you're quiet with your thoughts, and you have the radio turned down, and you're getting ready to be home, that you say your mantras, you're asking God or your spiritual whatever you are, for your third win, second win. So when you get home, you're able to be present with your kids then.
Yes, absolutely. So, folks, you're listening to
Right.
Wellbeing Simplified here on the Synergy Radio Network. To reach out to Dr. Tracy and Heather, 713-861-6777. Again, 713-861-6777. Stay tuned. We'll be back to bring this all together and Wellbeing Simplified here on Synergy Radio. Be back in just a moment. This is Wellbeing Simplified. If you have a question, 832-230-5592, 832-230-5592, or message us on Facebook, and we'll be glad to ask these amazing and well-informed ladies any question you'd like, including the latitude and the longitude of the wreck of the Hesperus. Just anything. No. Okay. So that's a good one.
Google's for that one.
So we've been talking about breathing, rejuvenating, hydrating, meditating. These are all elements that sort of converge to really bring wellness together.
We believe that these three pieces, the release, the rejuvenate, and the reinvent, if you do these three things, each of which has 2 steps under it, that you really can transform your life, like for real, people. And so the last R is the funnest, it's that reinvention piece.
Yes.
You know, and we laugh, you know, like if Oprah can do it, darn it, I can.
Right.
You know, like, so seriously, and she would admit that. I love that about her, that it really is about a mindset. And we're going to talk about manifestation. But with reinvention, that third R, so we've released, we've rejuvenated, and now we're ready to reinvent. Tracy's going to talk about more of the body piece with movement and tell you maybe some things you didn't really think of.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Our society's become so sedentary. We're all very, very aware of this. That's why we all stand while we're doing this show, because we don't want to sit for an hour.
Yes.
It's much healthier to move. Our bodies are made to move.
Yes.
Exercise is incredibly important, but did you know that you can negate a 1 hour exercise session at the gym by sitting for 6 hours?
Wow.
So you can overpower the benefits. I'm not saying not to exercise if you're going to be sitting, but you can overpower the wonderful benefits of exercise by just sitting and not moving for an extended period of time. It's really a 20-minute window that you have. So if you're going to sit, by the time you hit 20 minutes sitting, your organs start to shut down a little bit. The fluid isn't flowing through your lymphatic system and your blood's not pumping like it should. Toxins, you know, will stagnate places and cause damage to tissues. You have a lot more inflammation and free radical damage. Don't be scared by that. Just move. So either do something like get a standing desk, or one of the things we talked about was having things up high at your desk. So you're required to stand up to get this
Your
notebook
water.
or your
Right.
water, even better, your
Yeah.
water. Or what I do when I'm at home, when I'm working from home, is put a timer on for every 20 minutes, put my glass of water at the top of the stairs. Every 20 minutes, I have to walk up the stairs, so I'm using a lot of
Aye.
muscle, get my water, I'll drink like 4 ounces or so of water, and then come back down, or maybe even less, maybe 2 ounces. But it forces me to do that, and when you do that, it actually brings oxygen to your brain, and it helps you be more productive at work. It helps a lot of things flow like they should, and you're going to be healthier in the long run.
So movement doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that you have to run a marathon by the end of the 21 days doing Wellbeing Simplified. And that's not to say that there's profound benefits to high-intensity interval training, to weightlifting, to yoga type of exercises. But if you can just stand up, if you're sitting, every 20 minutes, do a cross crawl.
Yep.
You know, we talked about a cross
Right.
crawl as a marching in place, an exaggerated marching in place where you're kind of crossing that midline with your arms. That's going to integrate the right brain and the left brain, and you're going to be more productive at work, and you're moving. So movement. So the last piece of reinvention is manifestation. And manifestation is predicated on that idea of law of attraction.
Yeah.
So this is your Oprah stuff. All right? Channel
This
your
is
inner
Super Soul.
Oprah. Right? Super soul. Love her. So, you know, it's funny. I had this very conversation with my 12-year-old on the way to school. Every single time Mommy drives my daughter, who goes to school out I-10, every time Mommy drives her, that would be me, there is a wreck invariably on I-10. Like, bad. Like, people do not want me driving my kid to school kind of thing, okay?
Yeah.
Somehow I am attracting this. Daddy drives, she's like, Mommy, whenever Daddy drives me, it's never trafficky. There's never a wreck.
Huh?
So, but it led us into a conversation about, last night she kept saying, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get sick. Everyone in my class is sick. And so my kids know the saying of what you pay attention to in life grows. Okay, and that's scientifically based.
Yes.
But also, what you resist persist. So if I am saying, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to be sick, I don't want to be late, hopefully there's no traffic on I-10 driving my kid to school, and I'm really thinking about that, and I'm settling in on that thought, there is an electromagnetic field that is emitted from my thought processes, stay with me people, it's based on quantum physics, that can affect my reality. That can reinvent the very world I am stepping out into. So my thoughts can create my reality, My feelings and my heart space can create your reality. And I want to end with this because it's something that's near and dear to both Oscar and mine heart, no pun intended.
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So we'll end on the heart stuff. But this is that heart science, that neurocardiology, where the neurocardiologists are studying that you emit that electromagnetic field from this second brain called your heart when you feel positive emotions. And so when I, on purpose, choose for self 12 seconds at a time to think a positive thought, okay, and I'm going to think right now about when I was kissing my 9-year-old boy before he went to school, and I was smelling his little yummy neck and giving him kisses, and he was in my lap, and 12 seconds, if I can just think about kissing Nicholas and the love that I felt in my heart for that moment, I am rewiring my nervous system to put out an electromagnetic field that is going to attract more of that yumminess into my life. Okay?
Yes.
Look it up.
Yes.
Google it. Neurocardiology.
That's right.
It's real stuff and it's scientific based. And that is one simple way. Feel a positive feeling for 12 seconds at a time. Don't just let it float by. Sink into it.
Yeah.
Yes,
If you do that all day long, you're going to attract new things into your life.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love it. It's a wonderful way to sort of bring to a conclusion our conversation, because it really speaks to the fact that each of us can create
That's
whatever experience we want. If we have a
That's it.
scarcity mentality, we'll create scarcity.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If we have abundance, we'll
Abundance.
create abundance. And
That's-
so I love that. You know, it's one of the things that I've often spoken to my kids about.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm going to wish a happy birthday to Austin today. He
Happy
is
birthday, Austin.
26.
It's my mom's birthday today, too.
Is it really?
My
Wow.
mom's birthday is today.
That is
Absolutely.
awesome.
Shall we
love,
sing?
Love her.
It
is.
Oh, and my son's
pretty
birthday's in
cool.
2 days.
Happy
All these
birthday,
Valentine
Mommy.
babies.
Wow, Valentine babies, right? That's pretty cool. So that is awesome. I didn't mean to just jump in there, but you know, hey, look,
no, happy
26
birthday.
years ago, he was
Yeah.
the first kid that I didn't give birth to, but I like
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I held in my hands as he came out of his mommy's womb. So that was a powerful experience.
There's your 12 seconds.
That's my man. I
Yeah.
feel a little misty.
Yeah.
See, but that's how much power that we really have to create, as you said, the own happiness that we want, just by
Yes.
bringing that up.
Absolutely,
You're right there.
absolutely.
That's it.
That was
I'm
good.
feeling
I feel
good.
good. I'm elevating.
Yeah,
now.
like
Yes.
that hard.
That's awesome. Well, folks, thank you, ladies. This was great today. I really appreciate it. Was great review of some of the many things. So those of you who were listening for the first time, go back, review this information, and be sure that you go to wellbeingsimplified.com. These ladies have a formula that is simple, that everyone can benefit from. That number, 713-861-6777, 713-861-6777.